Because this is a story that's getting very little play in the corporate media. And partly because I think the American public doesn't care. I think the American public on whole ranges from not caring to being mildly supportive of the capacity of our president to unilaterally decide, with discussion, of course, with his CIA and military advisors, or not to kill somebody. And not just kill somebody, but, take out those people who are in the geographic proximity, to close proximity of those people. And as Joe Becker and Scott Shane write in the New York Times, Mr. Obama has placed himself at the helm of a top-secret nominations process. Isn't that lovely? To designate terrorists for kill or capture, of which the capture part has been largely theoretical. There is a clear sense that instead of dealing with indefinite detention at Guantanamo or any other of our black sites the CIA supposedly doesn't maintain anymore, we're just going to kill these people. And the piece was researched by talking to 36 of his current and former advisors. Now, contemplate this for a moment. We spoke to Thomas Drake and Jesselyn Raddick last week, which, if you haven't heard that interview, you're making a massive mistake. And we heard that the Obama administration is going after whistleblowers with an unprecedented fervor, using the Espionage Act more times than I think it's been used in the past 50 years over the course of these three. So the idea that there would be 36 people, current and past advisors, to be able to talk about this stuff, which is theoretically secret, right? I mean, that's the title of the piece. Secret kill list. But the only thing that's secret about the list at this point is the legal justification provided to the Obama administration by the Office of Legal Counsel. We seem to know just about everything else involved in this list, except for the secret documents that supposedly explain why it's perfectly legal for the president to do this. And yet, I can assure you, not one of those 36 people, A, will be charged with espionage, B, will suffer any retribution. What was I on? B. C, didn't do this without the explicit or implicit permission of the White House. So understand, what we're reading here is a long-form campaign ad by the Obama administration. And for people who are willing to read a 20-page, whatever it is, as I print it out, story in the New York Times about something they don't care about anyways, we know who this is for. This is an ad for essentially the military-industrial complex. There's no mass electoral benefit here. There's simply, this is a way of proving the Obama administration's bona fides to a rather narrow group of people. This story does not get written if the Obama administration doesn't want this story to get written. Make no mistake about that. And there is, sprinkled throughout it, some sort of queasiness with this whole program. Just since April of this year, there have been 14 drone attacks in Yemen and 6 in Pakistan. Simultaneously, these drone attacks have become the #1 recruitment tool for terrorists. But let's put aside the efficacy of this program for a moment. The Obama administration essentially has developed this program where they will target, assassinate people. And the means in which they do this is by convening a nominations process. I think they call it Terror Tuesday. I'm not joking. They call it Terror Tuesday, where they get together and about 100 people go over a list. Who's going to be on the list this week? Some people have dropped off because we have supposedly killed them. Some people supposedly drop off because we no longer determine they're a threat. Just contemplate that for a moment. You're on a list for targeted assassination for maybe 1, maybe 52 weeks. And then at one point someone says, we don't really need to kill you. Doesn't that undercut the justification for being on that list in the first place? I mean, we get to see how high the bar is, right? If you can fall off that list without being killed, maybe you shouldn't have been on that list in the first place. Even if you accept the premise that there should be a list. We have seen time and time again, whether it's from John Brennan or any other administration official, the claim that we have not killed innocent civilians with these drone attacks. Over and over again, so we see this. John Brennan says we have not killed innocent civilians. We also know that Brennan claimed that President Obama never knew about the killing of innocent civilians back in 2009 on the first drone strikes that were issued under his administration. Well, we now know that's a lie. We now see reporting both from Newsweek and New York Times that that's a lie. There's another way in which they claim that we're not killing innocent civilians. From the piece, Mr. Obama embraced a disputed method for counting civilian casualties that did little to box him in. I want to be clear, this is a methodology that was established during the Bush administration. However, you'll recall that President Obama was fairly articulate and adamant about not carrying out these extrajudicial policies by the Bush administration. It, in effect, counts all military-age males, and I'm not sure what that means. I mean, we know that in our military, we have people from, I guess it's 18 to 60s, 70s. And we already know that the administration has killed I think it was a 16-year-old boy, Anwar al-Awlaki's son, who was not in close proximity to Anwar al-Awlaki when he was killed. So let's just be generous and say 16 to male. So really any male in a strike zone. It counts all military-age males in a strike zone as combatants. What is defined as a strike zone? Well, whoever gets killed by the drone. And this is the best part. Well, I don't know if best part is the right word. The only way they are not considered a militant or a combatant is if there is explicit intelligence posthumously proving them innocent. Who is it that is going out and seeking this explicit? Who is it that's going out and investigating these charred bodies enough to explicitly say there's explicit evidence of this person's innocence. In fact, in our own legal system, we don't even have such a concept. There's a reason why, if you are a defendant in a legal case, you go up and you don't say, I plead innocent. You say, you plead not guilty. There is no such thing as explicit intelligence of innocence. That concept doesn't even exist. Counterterrorism officials insist this approach is one of simple logic. People in an area of known terrorist activity, which I guess, that seems fairly a broad definition. We know that at Logan Airport on 9/11, there were terrorists participating in an activity. They were participating in that in planes. We know that in Times Square, there was an attempt to ignite a firebomb. We know that in Georgia and Virginia and in Kansas and many states in our union, there have been terrorist attacks on abortion clinics. But maybe they're defining it in a slightly different way. People in an area of known terrorist activity or found with a top Al-Qaeda operative are probably up to no good. I'm not the first to notice this. Will Bunch, I think, wrote this, and I've seen it in a couple other places. But isn't that what Zimmerman said before he went after Trayvon Martin? He's up to no good. This is the standard in which we targeted and assassinate people? That those around them are probably up to no good. This counting method may partly explain the official claims of extraordinarily low collateral deaths. I'm sure it does. We have now defined out of existence the notion of collateral deaths. That would add to the low number of those because they no longer exist. They can't exist. Because if you are close enough to someone who is hit with a drone strike, by definition, you are not collateral death. In a speech last year, Mr. Brennan, Mr. Obama's trusted advisor, said that not a single non-combatant had been killed in a year of strikes. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Again, it's like that kid's joke I told yesterday. Hey, Bobby, do you know what time it is? I don't, but I know it's not 5 o'clock. How do you know that, Bobby? Because I'm supposed to be home at 5 o'clock, and I'm not at home. They've simply defined out of existence the notion of collateral deaths, and then can go on and say, we have no collateral deaths. In a recent interview, a senior administration official said the number of civilians killed in drone strikes in Pakistan under Obama was in the single digits. Of course it was. And then a very brief paragraph. But in interviews, 3 former senior intelligence officials expressed disbelief that the number could be so low. The CIA accounting has so troubled some administration officials outside the agency that they have brought their concerns to the White House. One called it guilt by association that has led to, quote, deceptive estimates of civilian casualties. Really, do you think so? It's nice. It's nice for the New York Times to throw us a bone and think that there's actually someone with some measure of integrity that at least gets into the White House.